Welcome back to episode 7 of the Voltage series. We've covered the framework. Today is sleep, the foundational practice without which the others can't fully work. Sleep is the most undervalued intervention in modern health culture. We've built a civilization that systematically disrupts sleep. We use artificial light, we watch screens late into the night, we take stimulants, even if it's just coffee or soda. We have irregular schedules. We're under a lot of stress. We use sleep medications that can disrupt sleep architecture. And we have a cultural promotion of productivity over rest. The cost shows up in essentially every chronic disease that's risen in modern populations. I'm going to walk you through what actually happens during sleep, why it matters for cellular voltage. Oh, that's so hard to say. Cellular voltage specifically, and what disrupts sleep in modern life. Also, how you can build the conditions for restorative sleep. So, sleep isn't a single state. It's a series of stages that cycle through the night, each that does different work. Light sleep happens at the beginning of each cycle. Your body is transitioning, brain activity is shifting, and basic restoration begins. Deep sleep, also called slow wave sleep, is where the major physical restoration happens. Growth hormone is released, tissue repair occurs. The glymphatic system, which is the brain's waste clearing system, works most efficiently during deep sleep. This is when the brain clears the metabolic waste that accumulates during waking. REM sleep, where dreaming primarily happens, is when emotional processing and memory consolidation occur. The brain then integrates the day's experiences, processes emotional content, and updates its models of the world. A healthy night includes multiple cycles of light, deep, and REM sleep. Each cycle is roughly 90 minutes. Most adults lead 4 or 5 complete cycles for full restoration, which translates to 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. For voltage specifically, deep sleep is the most critical phase. The cellular restoration that happens during deep sleep is what allows you to start the next day with adequate voltage. If you don't have sufficient deep sleep, your voltage stays depleted across days, weeks, and months. What disrupts sleep in modern life? Well, light is the biggest factor. Your circadian rhythm, the body's daily cycle that organizes hormones, body temperature, alertness, sleep, is set primarily by light exposure. Bright light, especially blue wavelengths, signals daytime to the brain. Dim light, especially red and amber wavelengths, signals evening. But modern life has reversed these patterns. Most people get too little bright light during the day, especially morning light, and too much bright light in the evening, especially from screens. So your system gets confused, and the hormone that initiates sleep, which is melatonin, is suppressed by evening light exposure. Okay, and so if you're doing the grounding that I talked about in earlier videos, you're probably getting some good morning light, and that may have helped to change your sleep schedule and help you sleep deeper. I would be interested in knowing if any of you have experienced that, if you've added that early morning light exposure to your schedule. Temperature also matters. Your body needs to cool slightly in order to enter deep sleep. Rooms that are too warm disrupt sleep architecture even if you don't fully wake up. 65 to 68 degrees is generally optimal. That may seem cold to some of you, but you do get used to it because I have started to sleep at 67. And that's not my age, even though I might look 67. Caffeine has a longer half-life than most people realize. The caffeine you drink at 2 p.m. is still active in your system at bedtime, even if you don't notice it. For sensitive sleepers, no caffeine after noon. For most people, no caffeine after 2 p.m. Alcohol disrupts sleep architecture even when it helps with sleep onset. People who drink to fall asleep get less deep sleep and less REM sleep, regardless of how long they sleep total. The quality is significantly worse. Late eating also disrupts sleep. Digestion is incompatible with deep sleep. Eating within 3 hours of bed reduces sleep quality, even if you don't notice it consciously. Stress and unresolved cognitive load. This is a no-duh, right? The brain that's still processing problems can't relax fully into restoration. Evening practices that close the day matter for this reason. If you go onto my website, there's a free downloadable evening ritual pamphlet that can help you get started with some evening practices. Okay, EMF exposure has more contested effects, but it's worth considering. Wi-Fi routers, phones, and other electronics near the bed produce electromagnetic fields that some research suggests interfere with sleep quality. The research is mixed. I say this, but I 100% believe it is true that it does disrupt. But the cost of reducing exposure is minimal. Keep your phone away from the bed. Turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Don't have any devices charging in your bedroom. Okay, what about sleep medications? Most sleep medications produce something that resembles sleep, but it isn't restorative sleep. Benzodiazepines, the major prescription sleep drugs, suppress deep sleep and REM. You sleep longer, but get less of what sleep is supposed to provide. Long-term use is associated with cognitive decline, and who needs that, right? Over-the-counter sleep aids, diphenhydramine, the active ingredient Benadryl, and most OTC sleep medications also disrupt sleep architecture. They produce sedation rather than sleep. So long-time use of these, and they're called anticholinergics. So if you see that word, that's these, Benadryl, is associated with increased dementia risk. Melatonin supplementation is more nuanced. Low doses, 0.5 milligram or less, can help with sleep onset and circadian regulation. The doses in commercial products, though, that's 5 to 10 milligrams and more. I've seen them like up to 150 or more milligrams. They're far higher than necessary, and they can disrupt natural melatonin production over time. So even though if you take them regularly, it's okay once in a great while. But if you're constantly taking them, over time, your own melatonin production will slow, and you'll be relying on these. Magnesium supplementation supports sleep architecture. Supports sleep without disrupting the architecture. But you got to take the right kind. So magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate, and I take the bisglycinate, or threonate, I also take that one because it's good for the brain, is well tolerated, and it's beneficial for most people. L-theanine, I love this one, and glycine also love, and apigenin are amino acid and plant compounds that support sleep through different mechanisms. So I take glycine is kind of sweet, so I have a little bit of glycine in a cup of hot tea before bed. That helps a lot. L-theanine is super good for brain function. And apigenin, I've not done a lot of research on it, but I'm just starting to study it. And so far what I see is really compelling. Each of these things has reasonable research support and minimal side effects. But for most people, the foundation is environmental and behavioral, not pharmaceutical. So if we address the disruptors first, then consider gentle supplementation if we need it, then medications if all other approaches fail, that's the best way to do it. So what does an optimized sleep protocol look like? In the morning, get bright light exposure within 30 minutes of waking. Outdoor, if possible, even on cloudy days. This sets the circadian rhythm for the day. So I have I wish I had it here, a daylight light. So it's I think it's called Very Well. But it has the morning light that you need, because I get up so early that it is pitch dark. So within 30 minutes of me awakening, I will still have pitch darkness. So throughout the day, stay active, eat in a reasonable window, manage your caffeine timing. Aim for caffeine cutoff by early afternoon if you can. In the evening, begin dimming lights 2 or 3 hours before bed. Switch to warm light sources, incandescent or amber LEDs rather than blue-white. I have a lot of salt lamps You can kind of see one glowing over to the side, that side. Oh my gosh, my thing is flipped. How funny. You can see one glowing there. I use those at night rather than turning on overhead lights. Also avoid screens or use blue light blocking glasses. So I do have those. I had the really good ones but they were so hard to look through. They were red. They really block a lot of blue light, but you can't see anything correctly through them. So I just have the clear ones. Before you go to bed, have a consistent wind down routine. Again, I've got it free on my website. Download it. Reading, gentle stretching, slow breathing, journaling, whatever signals to your body that the day is ending. Avoid stimulating content, though. If you're reading something, don't read about axe murderers. Don't have stressful conversations if you can avoid it, and don't talk about work. Your bedroom environment. It should be dark, blackout curtains. I swear by blackout blinds. They're awesome. Oh, or an eye mask. It should be cool, 65 to 68 degrees, and quiet. Use earplugs or white noise if you need to, if it's noisy. Electronics should be out of the room or far from the bed as you can. And this is really important, this next one. You should have a consistent wake time even on weekends. This is one of the strongest predictors of sleep quality. Sleep time can vary somewhat, but wake time should be similar daily. So even if you go to bed, you usually go to bed at 9, get up at 5. One day you're later, you go to bed at 10:30, still get up at 5. I know that sounds terrible, but in the long run, it'll serve you. Okay, most adults need 7 to 9 hours. Shorter than 7 is associated with worse health outcomes across a lot of measures. Longer than 9 can also be problematic, though it's less clear whether long sleep is causal or correlated with underlying issues. So what I mean is you may be sleeping longer because of an issue that you already have instead of that longer sleep causing the issue. We don't know yet. What about people who can't sleep despite doing everything right? Well, insomnia has many causes. The protocol above addresses environmental and behavioral factors. If sleep is still difficult, other factors can be involved. Chronic stress and trauma are real. They can produce hyper-aroused nervous systems that can't access deep relaxation. In that case, somatic work, therapy, and breath practice support this over time. Hormonal imbalances, particularly cortisol patterns. And I have a weird reverse pattern of high cortisol at night and low cortisol in the morning, which it should be low at night and higher in the morning. But I still get good sleep. So these things do work. Thyroid function can factor into it, sex hormones, those all affect sleep. Testing and addressing these may be necessary. Blood sugar dysregulation can disrupt sleep. Waking at 3 a.m. is often blood sugar related. A small protein snack before bed sometimes helps. Sleep apnea is significantly underdiagnosed, especially in women. If you snore, wake unrefreshed, or have a partner who notices you stop breathing during sleep, get evaluated. It's worth it. Restless leg syndrome affects sleep for many people and is often related to iron, magnesium, or dopamine pathways. Mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, PTSD, those frequently affect sleep too. Addressing the underlying condition often improves sleep. For most people, the protocol above produces significant improvement. For those with persistent issues, working with a sleep specialist or functional medicine practitioner is appropriate. But for voltage specifically, what matters the most? Deep sleep. It's where voltage restoration happens. The interventions that increase deep sleep are particularly valuable. Cool room temperature, magnesium supplementation, adequate physical activity during the day, stress regulation in the evening, avoiding alcohol and late eating. REM sleep matters for emotional regulation and cognitive integration. An adequate sleep duration ensures that you have the multiple REM cycles that you need. Stress that prevents emotional release during waking can disrupt REM sleep. So addressing daytime stress supports nighttime processing. Consistency matters more than duration in isolation. 7 hours nightly is better than 9 hours one night and 5 the next. The goal isn't perfect sleep every night. The goal is most nights being adequate with occasional disruptions handled and recovered from. Let me interject here by saying if you wear a monitor that monitors your sleep, or you sleep in a sleep number bed that monitors your sleep, don't let those numbers become a thing. And what I mean by that is sometimes people get so stuck on their number that actually disrupts their sleep. Oh my gosh, I didn't sleep well last night. Okay, remember this too, that those tracking devices are, I don't want to say they're inaccurate, but they're not perfect. I've used them before and I've had like beautiful sleep one night and it said, oh no, you slept crappy. And it wasn't true. I slept better than I ever had. So don't let those things get in your way. Okay. Sleep that's slightly imperfect, but it's consistent, serves voltage better than perfect sleep that's irregularly achieved. So, what are some practical recommendations to start this week? Set a consistent wake up time. Hold it for 2 weeks, including weekends. This single change produces more benefit than most other interventions. Get bright light within 30 minutes of waking. Outside if possible, even briefly. If not, get one of those lights. They're on Amazon. I should post a link, but I'm not gonna because each one is different. Find one, get it. They're not expensive. Dim your lights 2 hours before bed, or use blue light blocking glasses if you can't avoid screens. Drop your bedroom temperature. If it's not already cool, make it 65 to 68. Move your electronics out. And then notice your sleep quality after 2 weeks of doing this. Most people see significant improvement. And let me know if you try it and you do see the improvement. Next week, we'll cover inflammation and mast cells specifically. This will be a personal episode anchored in my own recent experience. The mast cell story is its own thing and worth a full episode. For now, sleep. Protect it. Build the conditions for it. Your voltage depends on it. And thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.